All right, so I've been seeing a lot of get home bag videos on YouTube, and I figured, you know what? I've had one now for a little over 10 years that I decided to go ahead and make a video of mine. Now, mine is gonna be a little bit different than... Now, this video is gonna be probably a little bit different than other videos that you've seen, simply because, well, two different things. One, I just moved from San Diego to the Denver area. So I lived in San Diego for 27 years, just moved out here. So now I have added a few other things for the winter time that I have to worry about here in the Denver area that I don't necessarily have to worry about in San Diego. And for me, yeah, I've had this pack now for about 10 years because in San Diego, I was worried about a natural disaster such as an earthquake, which there is no seasonality to that. It's not like, you know, hurricane season in Florida and, I don't know, tornado season in Tennessee or whatever. That's a constant threat that can happen any day, any night, whatever time. So yeah, I've had that. Now, the other thing that I want to say is there will be some things such as this backpack, which I will go over the pros, the cons, things that I like, don't like about them. But I'll also say what I wish I would have done a little bit differently that I've learned over time and give maybe some recommendations on just a few of the things. So to start off, it's this backpack. So this is the GoRuck Rucker. This is the first generation. I believe I picked this up for about $95 when it came out, maybe about 10 years ago or so. I have done a 12-hour GoRuck, a 24-hour GoRuck, and multiple Spartan races and tough races with this, including my weight, 45 pounds, which fits into this. These things are bomb-proof, but the individual who created these didn't create them with a civilian EDC mindset. So there's not a lot of organizational pockets in these. And that's kind of something that kind of sucks, that I don't like. I did go on to Amazon and I purchased this cheap water bottle holder that I have attached via the MOLLE, but it does make the pack look a little bit more tactical. I do have a Blue Force Gear Micro, I believe it's the Micro Trauma Kit, IFAK on the outside. If there was ever a situation where I needed to actually walk home, I would take this off and I would put it inside the main compartment, because this does make it look more tactical and more ready than anything. If I could do it all over again, I would do, for example, the Vertex Gamut or the Ready Pack. Those look a little less tactical, and I feel like they are much more well designed for small EDC items. So say you want a pen holder, you want a place where you can store cables, wires, charging cables, external hard drives, maybe your headphones, stuff like that. There's not a lot of room in here for those small, intricate things. So you're either going to have to deal with it, have them loose in this pack, or buy additional organizational pouches, or for example, DACA pouches, in order to organize your pack a little bit more. So you are gonna have to spend more money versus with the Vertex Gamut or the Ready Pack, they do have integrated like water bottle holders right here, and it doesn't look tactical. So, you know, I haven't made the change because it hasn't been that big of a deal for me. And at the same time, every time that I look at the cost of one of those bags, I realize that that's about 1,000 to maybe 1,200 rounds of 9mm. And I always go for the ammo over another pack. All right, so starting from the outside, we've got this pouch here. I've got my IFAK here, right? I've got two tension pneumothorax needles, kind of 2 is 1, 1 is none, so you can see one sticking out there. I've got another one up here. But I have spares of just about everything right in here. So I have an additional tourniquet. I have burn clot or burn gauze, Celox, and some additional compression gauze in there. Just a few other items for severe bleeding. A battery compartment. This holds 4 CR123 batteries. If I could do this all over again, I would just go onto Amazon, and I'll try to put links down in the description below for the Amazon stuff that I'm talking about. They're kind of rubber molded for the specific batteries that you want to carry. This is from 511. They don't make this anymore, so no point in even really talking about it, but it does hold 4 CR123 batteries, which I make sure to cycle through there. And Yeah, I wish I had a couple more of these because they were pretty good back in the day. Another thing, Theorem Cell Vault. If you are going to carry this on your plate carrier, 100% worth it. But I used to have this on the outside, and one of the other things that I realized whenever I would go for like mini rucks on my lunch break is that the sun was hitting it because of the color black. This thing was getting pretty hot, and I figured that it was gonna start messing with the actual batteries that are inside. So there's a combination of AA, AAA batteries in here, just as much as I could possibly fit in there is what I have in here, just as additional batteries. Oh, and that's another thing, is this pack, I purposely put a couple more items in here that add weight, because when I lived in San Diego, I worked in La Jolla Cove, about 2 blocks away from Valencia Hotel, and pretty much any time that I would go on my lunch break, I would take my pack with me, and it would be like a mini ruck. So I'd be going up and down some of the hills, and I just prefer to have a heavier pack that I train with on a regular basis. And then if I ever have to walk home, I can always maybe dump some of this stuff out and come back and pick it up later. Or if not, I'm also training my back, muscles, and so on, and just being able to carry more weight versus trying to make this as light as possible. All right, so here, just a general pouch, like this is what I'm talking about. I went cheap here. I have a Ziploc bag. I have water purification tablets, Leatherman, basically dude wipes for me to go in the event that I need to. I have Gorilla Tape in here, a fire starter, and then I also have medical grade, what is this thing called? It is Durabond, I believe, in case of I get cut and I need some stitches or whatever, and I can use super glue. This is medical grade stuff in here. If I didn't say already, I also have a Sharpie, a Bic lighter. No reason in going any harder, making things harder on yourself. If you can use a lighter to start a fire, but just in case that breaks or the water or the fluid leaks out of there, I do have a Exotac fire starter, which I also have an additional one on my keychain. But so something very simple like that. And just a little bit of paracord in the event that I need to. I had a little extra paracord, so that's in there. Put it to some good use. 50 feet of actual 550 paracord. Another thing that I would recommend is looking at not necessarily 550 paracord, but there are other versions that are like 250 or maybe even 150. I feel like most people are going to be using this to make a shelter, and you don't need 550 paracord for that. You can use some thinner stuff like what I have in here that maybe you can see, maybe you can't. It's the green stuff. I don't have it daisy chained because I'd rather just cut it to the length that I need in the event that I need to walk home and I need to do anything with it. In my bug out bag, I do have several strands of various length of 550 paracord that are daisy chained. So I have that in there, and that is it for the front pouch. So now in the main compartment here, you'll see some things that maybe are a little too much, but that's okay. Grail GeoPress water filter / purifier. I think that these things are absolutely amazing. I plan on doing a video on these soon. They have these in 2 different sizes, and man, this is suctioned really, really tightly right now. There we go. So the idea with this, fill the water in here, that's dirty water. There is a line on the outside for your fill line, and then you unscrew this so that it's an open top, and you simply put this container inside and you press down. And then all the water is going through the filter and the purifier, purifying your water. This is your filter right here. And what you're left with is nice, clean, filtered and purified water, which those 2 things are different. They are not the same, which most people think that they are. So highly recommend getting some of these. They have come out with a titanium version, which I actually think that is even better than this, because with the titanium version, this outer part, you can also put it over a fire if you want to boil some water for whatever reason. This is some type of plastic that you're not going to be able to put over a fire. Up next, another thing that I added once I moved out here, to the Denver area is a Sunshirt. Not really sure how you say this brand, but Kuiu, K-U-I-U. It's a Sunshirt, and it has a hood on it. Definitely needed out here during the summertime. In San Diego, never had to worry about the sun being so strong that it would literally cause some issues. Here, I have a Bleeding Heart Tomahawk from Half Face Blades. I own this one, which is the Bleeding Heart, the Warbird, the Crescent Hawk, and then a Winkler Sayok R&D with the front spike on it. And I figured, you know what, instead of having these just in a drawer or in my safe, I might as well put one of these in here. This is more to add weight to the pack, as I mentioned earlier, versus actually using it. But hey, you never know. So I have that there. Then a fixed blade, also from Half Face Blades. And no, this video is not sponsored by them, wish it was, but this is the Disaster Junior. Yeah, Disaster Junior. They do have one that's a little bit longer, and now apparently they have one that is a Disaster Cub, which is a little bit smaller than this. But having a good fixed blade in here is pretty important. Then I also have breech pen. These things came out a while ago. I usually carry 2 in here. Not sure why the other one isn't in here, but when these things originally came out, they were only for sale to military, law enforcement, firefighters. I found a website that sold these without any proof of service, I guess you could say, and I went ahead and I bought 10 of them. I think now though, you can actually buy these directly from the manufacturer, and they even have one that's a little bit longer. I think it burns for maybe an additional 10 seconds. So usually I carry 2 of them. I'm actually gonna go hunt for the second one after this. And then at the bottom here inside, energy bars from Mainstay. This small bar is non-thirst quenching and it has 1,200 calories. So I have something here that has some substance to it. And yeah, non-thirst quenching. And then somewhere in here, where is it? I have an additional, there they are, additional 50 rounds of ammo, loose ammo, and then just a Camelback, 3 liters in there. One thing that I want to say is a lot of the EDC / get home bag videos that I've seen, people don't talk about the weight of water. 1 gallon of water weighs a little over 8 pounds. And depending on where you live, say you live in Arizona, you live in Nevada, maybe Texas, maybe parts of Florida, definitely out here in Denver, depending on the season, depending on when or if something might happen that you need to walk home, you're probably going to need more than a gallon of water. I know here I live about 30 miles from work, and should anything ever happen where I need to walk home, during the summertime, I'm 100% going to need more than a gallon of water. So make sure that you are training to be able to carry that weight with you as well. Up top here, so there's a little admin pouch, and then there's an additional pouch down here for you to be able to put a couple other things. So on the admin pouch, Sharpie, this was sent to me for free. It's a neck garter by Norma, I believe. Yep, Norma. I didn't get to choose the color. If I could, I would go with a FDE or an olive green, something like that. But I do like this because it can protect my neck from bugs, mosquitoes. It could also serve as a first line of water filter if I don't have a cloth, right? I can put this over the Grail GeoPress and help keep out small twigs, bugs, stuff like that. So I decided to carry this as well in there. Backup, Surefire flashlight. This is the EDC L2T. Did a video on this, and I also did another video comparing that to its newer dual fuel turbo flashlight. A random zip tied, ammo, magazines. I carry the P365 on me, so this is what? I've got 2 12-round magazines, one 10 rounder because it came with it, and a 15 rounder. Seeing that this is my everyday carry gun, which I'm not going to show you because otherwise YouTube would demonetize this video, there's no reason for me to have my magazines at home. So I have them spread out between this pack, another identical pack like this that I have in my car, and that is a dedicated get home bag. That bag never leaves my car. This will go in with me to my office, into the gym. When I get home, it comes up with me. So this one does move around. When I get into my wife's car, this pack also comes with me. And we can go over that towards the end of the video. Some fire starters right here. Charging cable for my phone. And then the Surefire charging cable for the 18350 and 18650 batteries, which I make sure to check the battery level of my EDC light before I leave work. Carry it like this. So I have the EDC 1 DFT Turbo. I have I believe this is the Snake Concepts tourniquet. And then finally, I live in a place where I can actually own these. This is the Microtech. You can see it's the Spartan edition, so I carry one side, my wife carries the other, and it serves also as a glass breaker. So I just have this all kind of nice and tight in my pocket. So yeah, I make sure that my battery is fully charged before I leave work in case of accidental activations of the light. I also have a folder. I was really big into folders before I started carrying fixed blades, such as my favorite, which is the Dynamis Razorback, which I still have right here. Been carrying this thing for years. But yeah, I used to be really big into folders. This is a zero tolerance 620, so it has the Emerson Wave. Figured it's the same thing. Instead of having this in a safe, I'd rather have this in my pack as a backup. So I have that. And what I do carry is liquid IVs. So one of these is one that has some caffeine. One of these has caffeine in them and the other one does not. This is very, very important to carry, especially out here during the summertime. You want to make sure that you stay hydrated, especially when you're carrying more weight. So these are good. These are also good in the event that you have to purify some water and maybe you use the tablets or you use some of the chemicals. This will help with the aftertaste. So highly recommend having this stuff as well. All right, and then finally in this main compartment right here, I have my version of a boo-boo kit in a waterproof pack. This has, literally, it has a scalpel, right? In the event that I need to make an incision somewhere, cut something, I have some clean saline, gauze. I have the number 3 and number 5 sutures set in case I need to stitch something up, but I also have a medical grade mini stapler. I believe this one has 15 or 20 staples. So say for whatever reason I'm coming back from home, something happens, I fall, and I need some medical assistance and I need sutures for it, I can just staple it if it's in the right area. I also have some Tachoderms in there. I have small Band-Aids, some alcohol swabs, which can also help in starting fires, and additional powdered Celox. So I have that in there. A little bit more, so I've got some Tylenol, Advil, ibuprofen, and then I have some of these which I like cycling in and out of. A little bit more food. The Justin's almond butter. You can get these relatively cheap, and they're nice and fattening. And then finally, some of the stuff that some of you are going to be like, what the F are those? Civilian legal distraction devices. Carry 2 of these. I did videos on this. This is probably, the video that I did on this is probably the most watched video on my channel. I can't remember how loud these things are, but they are pretty loud. I want to say 130 or 140 decibels, and then this tag-in product is 10 decibels less than this. So I still have some. You can't, I'm sorry, get these anymore, but they are coming back with some smaller versions that you can. So this one I'm actually going to, I've been carrying it for a while. I'm going to test it out and see how good it holds up over time. And then I also carry 2 smoke grenades, a little bit more snacks. But I also carry 2 of the Enola Gay Mil-X. These things are relatively cheap, easy to get, cold burning, which is the most important for me. And I carry them in these Ziploc bags because, as you can see, rattling around, throwing my pack on the ground, into my car, stuff like that, some of the inside powder can get out. So I just rather keep them in here. This is where 2 is 1, 1 is none type of thing. I also carry 2 so that if there is a need for me to try to flag down, say, a helicopter or someone, if they see 1, when they come closer, being like, hey, does the person know that orange is the international color for distress? I can then set off another one, holding it in my hand because they're cold burning, and being like, yes, I actually do need help. So that's why I carry 2 of these. And then, what is this? Benz 100% D, so 10 hours of protection, because Lyme disease is no joke. If you don't know what that is, or you don't know what the side effects are, Google it, go down that rabbit hole, and you're gonna be probably worried about Lyme disease. I saw my first ticks out here, and it was massive, like genuinely massive. It was like 5 times the size that I thought that it was going to be. So that's it really for my pack, what I carry in here. During the wintertime, I will be carrying, let's see, what do I have in here? I have 2 different pairs of socks that are wool. So one from Smart Wool, it's more of a skiing, snowboarding sock. And then I have a Darn Tough wool sock. I have a beanie. And then I have Smart Wool base layer. This is their Interknit or Interknocken, I want to say. This is the thickest base layer wool that Smart Wool has for the top, and for the bottom, a wool beanie. And then yeah, Darn Tough hiking socks on this side, and Smart Wool snowboarding socks in the event that I need to walk home in the snow. I will also be adding some gloves to this and some other things, but this is what I am starting off with, at least for now. So no shelter, no tent, nothing like that. I don't plan on, if anything ever were to happen, to stop to get some sleep or anything like that. I plan on getting home as quickly as I possibly can. If that means borrowing a bike or something, I will do that before resting. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. Yeah, there's nothing else really in this pack besides all that stuff. So there's more stuff in my car, and there's other things that I do carry on my body. So my SIG P365, my blade, you already saw this kit here, 15 round magazine, 10 round magazine. Reason why I carry it is I usually wear the 511 jeans, and so it'll sit in my back pocket like this. So whenever I reach into my back pocket, I'm going to want, if I need to reload, I'm going to want my 15 rounder, not the 10 rounder. So it provides a nice little like indexing point in order for me to pull it out. If I didn't have a spare magazine in there, then this, because of how large the back pocket is, where I put this in, it sometimes can fit like this. And last thing that I want is me needing this magazine and then me having to really reach in there and try to wedge it out and then being able to pull it up. So if I have 2 in there, they stay nice and neat, standing up like this. And again, I just reach in there as far as I need to until I reach the base plate of the 10 round magazine, and then I just pinch, and I've got a pretty good grip in order to reload. So I have that. And yeah, that's about it. Phone. Oh, I do carry a spare battery for the EDC, which is something that I also don't see a lot of people doing. Don't know why. You can have accidental or negligent discharges of light, right? And if your battery runs out, what are you gonna do? Which has happened to me. And when it did, that's when I started carrying a spare battery. So you guys should do that as well, on your body, not just in your pack. So yeah, guys, that's it. Let me know what you think. Do you carry something differently? Do you live in a cold environment, and should I be thinking about some other stuff? Because yeah, this is going to be my first winter living out here. So if you guys want to comment down below, let me know. And then I guess the last thing is I do have a hip, belt on the GoRuck. So it will help distribute and carry this weight. But yeah, that's it guys. So let me know in the comments what you thought. Do you carry something differently in the winter that I should probably be carrying? And do you think that a Tomahawk is a good idea or a bad idea? I don't know. Now, let me know.